Oh wow, Nate, that's a really small post office then. Was it one of those touristy sort of post offices? Also, hi Nate, hi Derpy. How are you both doing? Cuz there's a tourist town that we always go to when we visit my grandparents in California. And oh, world, thank you for the raid. 7 people. Thanks for dropping the kids off. Let me pull you guys in. There we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How was your stream? Were you were playing more It Takes Two, right? Honey, I'm here with the kids. Derpy, you're doing good. Got this new Aw, that's so cute. I love it. Hi, Sniper. Hi, Fan. It's good to see you again. I'm glad you made it back. Hi, Cleo. I did miss you. We haven't seen you here in a long time, Cleo. Ooh, you tried alligator, Nate? Made you sick for the next couple of hours? I think I heard that alligator is like very gamey. You're doing well now, though. I'm glad. World, it was good. And yes, you think your highest was... Oh, wow, 12 viewers. That's great. Good job. Yeah, 7 is, I think, the highest I've ever seen you raid with, for sure. Can't get my headset comfy today. How are we doing? I'm doing pretty good. I'm a little sleepy. I was kind of like half napping before starting stream today. So, like I was listening to some spooky stories. I was listening to Mr. Nightmare, and I wasn't really paying attention because I was kind of like in and out of drifting off. But oh my god, it felt like there were so many ads. Like it felt like I was listening to story for like 2 minutes and then it was another ad. Hi Brayden. Hi JPro. How are you all doing? Hugs for all of you who haven't gotten one yet. Hi Cosmic. Hi Wolfie. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Derpy. Starting us off good. Brayden, you like Mr. Nightmare too? Yeah, I enjoy him a lot. I wish he would do more stories that aren't just like the, you know, 3 true wilderness stories or whatever. 'Cause I'd like to hear him do more traditional creepypastas. Oh, Wolfie and JPro, you love Mr. Nightmare too? He's really good. He's got a good voice for it. Ghost, please make the hydrates cheaper. What, you don't get enough hydrates? Nate, the gator is very chewy. Issue being you had it as... Oh, you had it as an appetizer. Then for the meal you had chicken. They taste exactly the same and triggered your gag. Oh no. Well, at least it didn't go to waste. At least Rachel enjoyed it. Hi, Rainmaker. Good to see you. I'm excited to finish your story today. Chat hug for Wolfie. You guys always get all the hugs. And then a stretch for Pinky. Alright, let's get some stretching done real quick. And you guys do some stretches too. If you've been sitting around for a while, make sure you get up and stretch a bit. Get that foot blood flowing. You know we hate blood clots here. But yeah, I was drifting off a lot, and then it got to like half an hour before stream, which is usually when I kind of start getting myself ready with everything, you know. And so I'm mostly awake now, but it was taking me a bit. Oh, J Pro, you're quitting vaping? I'm very proud of you. That's so great. I know it's probably pretty hard, but you can do it. I believe in you. Sniper, you've made your decision. Gonna try giving streaming another shot. That's so cool. I really did enjoy watching you stream the one time that I was able to pop in. So I look forward to seeing you do it more. Cosmic, you're so behind on fishing. Oh, Rainmaker, you love Mr. Nightmare too? Love it if he narrated one of yours. Gotta start campaigning. I mean, I'm sure it's only a matter of time before he narrates one of yours, Rainmaker. Your stories are so good. They're gonna get more attention in the future, I know it. Cleo, when am I gonna get your pirate ship fixed? I'm kind of a deadbeat mom, so it might be a while. Oh, you got a turtle, Sniper? Yay! Fish cracker. Oh, hi, Pinky. Good to see you. Fish crackers do sound good. Like goldfish, you mean? How am I doing today? Pretty good, just a little sleepy. I'm excited to finish our story. Nate, not great advice, but a potential idea. Maybe try setting up incense or breathing in water. Ooh, yeah, those could definitely be some substitutes. Thank you for the hydrate, Ghost. J Pro, you're accepting any ideas? Trying to fully quit by at least next month? Well, I don't know enough about the science behind quitting, but I have full faith in you, J Pro. Also, I don't know if there's scientifically any differences between quitting smoking and quitting vaping. I don't know if there's any differences there. That'd be kind of interesting to look into. Aw, Nate, you wanted to take the white tiger home. Her name was Looney. Cute. J Pro, so far what you've been doing is you'll hit it within a small period of time, then you wait an hour until you do it again. Okay, so you're not just doing cold turkey, you're trying to do more of a gradual quitting. When, I'm very proud of my dad, because when I was gonna be born, he quit smoking because he didn't want to do that around me. And he just went cold turkey and quit that way. Cold turkey is not easy. No, it absolutely is not. But he was able to do it, and I'm just very proud that he was able to do that for me. can tell it's bad when you struggle with an hour, JPro. Oh, for sure. Like, it's crazy how addicting that stuff gets. That's why it's best to just not even start. But, you know, people fall into it for whatever reasons they have. Petition to get Mother Astral a sugar mommy. When she crashed my ship, all my treasure got lost. Well, you'll just have to find it again. There's a type of vape that's just pure air but does release a taste, so it tricks. Sorry, I had a thank you, Derpy. I had to sneeze. I'm glad I was able to mute myself before I sneezed in your ears. But yeah, those vapes that are just pure air vapor, those are a good tool for helping, because a big chunk of the addiction is just, you know, that psychological oral fixation. And so if you can simulate that part of it, it helps a lot. Cosmic, you could nerd out about that. I love it when you nerd out about things, Cosmic. You can go for it. Vaping might be harder to quit because you hit this thing every 5 minutes. You can use it anywhere. That's true. I had not thought about that aspect of it, JPro. Cold turkey can actually cause more harm. Oh yeah? I suppose that could be true depending on the severity of the addiction. Oh, you did it when you quit drinking and Coke and stuff? I'm proud you were able to do that, Pinky. That's so hard. I'm always happy when you guys are able to improve your lives like that. And y'all certainly have the power to do so. I believe in all of you. Oh, Cosmic, as a very addicted vapor, you can say don't start. Yeah, absolutely. Just don't start any of those bad habits like that. Oh my gosh, is that Mugger? Hi, Mugger. I'm glad you were able to make it. You're gonna be a little out of the loop because we are gonna be continuing last week's story. But don't worry, we'll kind of do a quick review in a little bit once I catch up with all of you. It's been about 15 minutes, so we'll probably try to get our review here real quick, and then we can continue with our story. JPro, the attractive thing about it was the head rush when you were younger. Now that you take breaks, it feels hardcore, but I didn't get that for a long. Interesting. Not the right place for biomechanics. This is the right place for, you know, whatever comfy topics or interesting topics you all have. Oh, interesting. Mugger, you used flavored toothpicks and cinnamon gum. I guess I never really thought about. Oh, wait. Yeah, I guess I have seen flavored toothpicks, but not for a long time. I think there was a restaurant that we used to go to that had like mint toothpicks. Brayden, how do you get your lady to not vape anymore? it's just something you gotta talk with her about, and you can't get her to do anything that she's not prepared to do. Hopefully she'll get to a point where she's ready to quit. Rainmaker, you quit smoking in a very lame way because you were just too broke to afford the cigarettes. I mean, that sucks that you couldn't afford them, but yeah, it's so expensive. And if that's what got you to quit, then, you know, at least you still quit, and that's the important bit. I'm sure you're saving a lot more money now by not spending the money on them too. You'll figure this story out, Mugger. Yeah, it's a really good one. We were enjoying it last week. Oh, you used to do chewing tobacco? That stuff is so nasty. I do not like chewing tobacco. Not flavor wise. I haven't like ever tried it, but like I remember one time when I was at uni, I was in the computer lab, and this guy sitting next to me, he had his like little spit cup for his chew, and oh my god, it was just so disgusting. I wanted to move to a different computer, but I was too socially anxious about doing it, and yeah, it was it was not a great experience. One of your charity friends uses that vaping thing, Sniper. Nice. Uh, yeah, go. That's a good call, Nate. Put it in the ad board on Discord. Hi, Shadow. It's good to see you. How are you doing? I'm doing pretty well myself. A little tired though, because I was kind of napping before I started stream. Can you premiere my song on stream tomorrow or when it's... Yeah, yeah, if it's, Cosmic, if it's finished tomorrow, I'll totally play it on stream. I have no problem with that. J-Pro, can't wait till you don't have to buy these things. You're gonna see that. Oh my gosh. Substorm of astronomical proportions. Oh my gosh, that's a big raid. Thank you, Steph. I appreciate it. I hope you all had a lovely, lovely stream. What were you reading? We got all the fishies here. Let me let me go back a little bit. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I got all of the messages because I try to keep up as best I can with Thank you for giving the shout out. But yeah, we are actually getting really close to continuing our story that we started last week. We're gonna go through a review, so all of you who, didn't catch the beginning of it can kind of get an idea what's going on. It's a creepypasta called It Takes, and it is by Rainmaker Windwaker, who we have here in the chat, and we love their stories. They're always so good. But yeah, thank you so much for the raid stuff. I appreciate it so much, and thank you to all you raiders. I hope I hope you stick around, hang out, or if you gotta do some other stuff. If you visit again, I'd love to see you. But don't feel any pressure. I know you guys were probably streaming for a while. Thank you, Pro Self-Love. Oh, I love that name. We are definitely pro self-love here. But if you guys need to do some other things, eat dinner, take a break, whatever, I will not be offended if you just, peace out real quick. But it's good to see you regardless. Steph, you finished reading Foxglove today. Oh, I popped in and lurked for a little bit of that story. Tuesday we're gonna start a vampire werewolf romance. Ooh, that sounds really good. I'll have to try and catch some of those. I'm doing pretty well myself. Excuse me. Braxis, thank you. Thank you for the follow. Let me grab a drink of water real quick. Cosmic trying to fish up Steph's viewers. Yeah, we love fishing here. So many more fish in the pond for us to fish up. Cosmic, time to cast your line, you dork. Oh no, chat paused. I didn't realize I paused it. How behind am I? Oh, John, hello. Hello again. I don't know what you're saying, but welcome back. Mugger, guys, make sure to follow. Oh my. Okay, yeah, to clarify what Mugger's talking about, I did promise that I would eat cat food when we made it to 1,000 viewers. Not one of my perhaps wisest moments, but you know, I still don't think we're actually gonna make it to 1,000 anyway, so you know. Okay, sorry, I'm kind of just zooming through, trying to catch up on chat here. Oh, you voted for the werewolf one, J Pro. I'm glad they're getting to it. Fish puns. We love fish puns. Derpy, why do seagulls fly over the sea? If they flew over the bay, they'd be bagels. I think they should fly over the bay because I like bagels. The book is called Bride by Allie Hazelwood. I feel like I recognize that name, but maybe it just sounds the author's name, but maybe it just reminds me of something else. Brain thought you were talking about Twilight for a sec. Had to do a double take. Someone catch you? Oh my gosh. Cosmic, cast your line. You gotta catch Braxis. Cat food. Yes, I'm gonna eat cat food because okay, so there's been a whole running gag about me eating cat food, and there's a clip somewhere. There's a clip somewhere where someone mentions like me eating cat food on top of my pizza, and I'm like, I was gonna say no, I'm just gonna eat the pizza, but instead I said no, I'm just gonna eat the cat food, and not one of my proudest moments. But yeah, that's the deal. We hit 1,000 followers and I eat some cat food. May have mentioned. Yeah, that's true. I may have heard you mention it before, Steph. Spider Astral, that's cute. We'll get her to 1,000 followers so we get wet food time. What about anchovy? Ew, anchovies, gross. You need to make this happen, Rainmaker. Oh no. Oh, thank you for posting the clip, I think. Alright, let's start reviewing our story. So, because we're almost half an hour in and we have not started reading. This is what happens. I get so distracted. I love interacting with you guys. Fan anchovies is just salt with a hint of fish. Is it really? To be honest, I've never actually tried anchovies, So I can't say that I, hate them. I just don't find them appealing. Steph, the struggle so much. Chat is the biggest distraction. They are. They're so entertaining, though. What does the IA stand for in the LGBTI? Your guess is intelligent apples, but you're frequently wrong. The I is probably intersex, and the A is probably asexual. That would, I can't say with 100% certainty, but that would be my guess. Had to share that one. It is a good one. Okay, yeah. Nate's confirming intersex and asexual. Not 100% sure how to pronounce it, but I'll just call you Logi. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying my rambling enough to want to hang out some more. Hi, buddy. All right, let's start our review. So, our story is called It Takes, and it is by Rainmaker Windwaker. It started with an introduction from the main character's daughter saying how she didn't know. Excuse me, let me get a drink. All right. It started with an introduction from the main character's daughter talking about how she didn't know the whole story about what happened in the winter of 2015 when this story takes place. But then she found a stack of papers written by her father, and she's basically sharing it with us. And so it goes on with chapter 1 through 4, which is what we read, to talk about some weird things that were happening. The biggest one being that they found that their basement was not their basement anymore. They went down there and all their stuff was gone. And more than that, it was a completely different basement. It was not functional. The breaker box didn't connect to anything, nor did the vents. It was just not their basement. And and they also started seeing some figures around the house, including what they have been calling the Sharp Man, with a bunch of cuts on his face and like a big gash down the middle. They've been hearing all these other voices as well that seem to be only able to repeat like their dying words. And so when we left off, let me get through. This is a long one, so I need to use the index here. When we left off, there was a bunch of voices talking over each other and kind of forming in to give a better view of what's going on, but we don't completely have that. It sounds like maybe a father murdered some kids and other people. Like, it sounds like the father who lived in here at one point, or at least lived in the basement maybe, was just a serial killer or something. We don't know yet. We're still getting to that point. But the daughter had come and gotten wrapped up in hearing these voices, so she didn't say what she had to right away. But she came to the father to basically say that her younger brother, something happened to him, and all she said was the sharp man happened to him. So we're going to figure out what exactly happened to Sammy, the little brother, who, for a little more context, has also been sleepwalking. We're not sure if it's entirely sleepwalking, but he keeps going down to the basement, and there were some other weird stuff as well, but that's kind of the gist of it. So we're going to pick up with chapter 5 right after this revelation about what happened to Sammy. Father had a reasonable crash out. Hi, Cyber. It's good to see you. All right. Oh my gosh, I need to make sure you guys didn't try to sneak anything in with all that fishing. Okay, I'm not I'm not seeing anything, so I think oh, I see Derpy. Hydrate and stretch. All right. Only fish. Okay, we got chat, hug, hydrate, and stretch. I think that means it's time to start. Yeah. Oh my gosh, and a posture check. You guys are brats. Okay, let's get the hydrate first. Wasn't thinking of doing it until you said. I know, I shouldn't have said anything. As soon as I said something, I saw you guys start doing that. Alright, let's do the stretch, and then we have chat, hugs, and posture check, and I will have to check to see if there's anything else you little buggers put in there. And you all get up and stretch as well, especially all of you from Steph's stream. If you have not gotten up and moved around for a while, make sure you're getting up and stretching. We don't want you getting blood clots. That felt buggers, so British. I've been saying that like my whole life. Alright, chat hugs. Let's get some chat hugs. Oh, I think we had head pats in there too. So we'll get you guys some head pats. Because you're such a good little chat. Bunch of good little fishies in the pond. You gotta make sure you're extra good, or Cosmic's gonna catch you all. Okay, I'll get up. Yeah, if you have been sitting for a really long time, because I don't know when the last time you got up, Steph, you should probably get up and stretch. Got yourself some caramel corn. Ooh, caramel corn is so good. What do you call a fish with no eyes? A fish. You love the word silly buggers. Pink rubber ducky. Oh, you got the rubber duck? Nice. Group stretching. Yeah, we love group stretching here. Okay, oh, posture check. That was the other one we need. All right. Kenshin Wolf VA. Thank you for the follow. It's so good to see you. Kisses for all of you. Mwah, mwah, mwah. We love seeing you all here. Oh my gosh, Braxis, a legendary for your first one? That's amazing. All right. Let's do our posture check, and then we'll finally start the story for today. All right, get your back straight, Shoulders back, boobs out. I want to see proper posture from all of you. Yeah, boobs out. Get them boobs out. All right. Chapter 5. The Mirror. Steph. You dork. I rushed up the stairs to the sounds of Sammy screaming in horror. I darted down the hallway towards it, and when I stood in the doorway to Maddie's room, I saw him. He was laid out on the bed, screaming and convulsing. I don't know what happened. He was sleeping, and then Maddie explained through tears. Sam! I yelled as I made my way to the bedside. Oh my gosh, my tracking is pitching a fit as soon as I decide to start reading. Boobs out, fish out. It's the proper procedure to posture check. Sam, I yelled as I made my way to the bedside. I saw that his eyes were closed. I held his body down to the bed to stop the violent thrashing. His screams pierced through me. Sharp! Sharp! He screamed. It's okay, Sammy. You're dreaming, I shouted. But the screams continued. He wouldn't stop shaking and flailing in my arms. What do we do? Maddie yelled through the chaos. Thinking quickly, I instructed Maddie, get the book. What book? The dragon one, the one he likes, the one that you always put him to sleep with. Maddie quickly ran out of the room and returned a few seconds later, holding the children's book. Come here, read it to him. Maddie knelt down beside me, opened the book to a random page and began reading softly in his ear. The dragon's belly gurgled. So hungry, he snapped. Why must I be confined to this awful trap? He looked for a way, any way to be freed, so he could continue his insatiable greed. I felt Sammy's body begin to tire and his screams begin to soften. It was working. The brave knight entered, not keen to be a meal, but to his surprise, the dragon offered a deal. Set me free now, let me soar in the skies. In return, dear knight, I shall give you a prize. The knight knew better. He knew it was a jape. There was no way he could let the dragon escape. His breathing began to regulate. Pretty soon he was completely calm. Maddie and I both let out a huge sigh of relief. Sammy's eyes slowly began to open. Thank God, Maddie said under her breath. Maddie, Sam yelled, wrapping his arms around her and crying into her shoulder. I wrapped my arms around both of them. I don't want the sharp man to take me. Please, don't let him take me, Sammy cried. You just had a bad dream, kid. It's okay, Maddie said in her most soothing voice. Maddie looked towards me, and I saw everything she wanted to say written in her pleading expression. She wanted us to leave. We're gonna go to a motel for the night, okay? I said to both of them. Then I added directly to Maddie, we'll figure it out from there. She nodded. I walked into my room to begin preparing an overnight bag, but then I looked out the window. I walked over to the living room window to get a better view of the driveway, and that confirmed it. We were snowed in, and it was still coming down hard. It would take all night to clear the driveway, and even then the roads likely wouldn't be plowed until much later. We were stuck. Maddie and Sammy joined me in the living room. They both saw what I saw. Maddie's expression instantly dropped. Okay, I said, formulating a new plan. I turned to Sammy. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna have a slumber party here in the living room, the three of us. I can stay up? Sammy asked. You can stay up, you can sleep, you can do whatever you want because there's no school tomorrow. We'll bring your bed out here and your favorite toys. Until the snow goes away, we're all gonna stay in the living room. I turned to Maddie. Sound good? Oh, hi, Ryan. Sorry I missed you. Doing what Big always wanted from... Oh my gosh, stop honoring Big the cat. Why is it wet in here and why does it smell like fish? Never you mind that, Ryan. Never you mind. Chlamydia? Oh my gosh, Nate. We got raided by a fish VTuber, so we decided to have a fish apocalypse. You guys look for any excuse to have a fish apocalypse. Don't blame Steph. Oh, I lost my spot. There we are. Maddie nodded again. Sammy cheered. I began getting to work setting the living room up for us, while also grabbing the TV out of the basement so I could shut and barricade the door with the chair once again. Unsure of how much it would help at this point, but just one extra measure. Sammy didn't want to go back to sleep for the first couple of hours, so we played some games and put on a movie. We had a full-on Connect 4 tournament that we let him win. It was fun. It had been so long since we all had fun together like this. I couldn't figure out why I didn't make this happen more often. There was just always something in the way. Eventually he passed out again. Maddie and I watched over him in the dim lamplight. Should we take turns sleeping? Maddie asked. Yeah, that's probably the move. A few moments of silence followed between us before a question formed in my head. Those dreams you had about that guy, what exactly happened in them? Was there anything else? Maddie paused before answering. Yeah, I mean, they were strange. I didn't think much about them at the time. She shifted in her seat. They start with me walking through the house at night. Then I come to a door in the hallway. I can't tell which door, but when I open it, it's just blackness. The floor is made of fog and it goes on forever. Then someone takes my hand. I look up and it's him. He's wearing this elegant suit. This tuxedo. But he has cuts all over his face, bleeding from every one. I can almost see his skull through the giant gash down the middle of his head. He's smiling at me. I'm scared, but then what? Then suddenly I'm in this fancy white dress. He brings me in and we start dancing. Slow dancing in this void. I don't want to, but my body moves anyway. I feel the blood from his face trickle down mine, and there's this echo. It's like people singing in an opera, but it's so far away. We dance to it, and suddenly I'm happy. I don't know why, but I am. Then I turn around and, well, I see Mom. Your mom is there? Yeah, she's standing there watching us dance. Then she holds her arms open and I start walking towards her. Then I wake up. Wow. Uh, that's a lot. Yeah. I don't know what it means, if it means anything. I sit back and shrug, letting letting the silence fill the space. I didn't know if I should pry into her feelings about her mother. Do you still hate her? Maddie asked. I was taken aback. She never asked anything like that before. No, I never hated her, I answered, honestly. That answer seemed to be enough for her. She decided not to follow up. It was the truth. I didn't hate her for leaving us. She tried, she did. But those last few months after Sammy was born, I knew she was gone. I knew one night I'd wake up and she wouldn't be there. I even heard her get up in the middle of the night and pack her things. And I didn't stop her. I figured it would be better to let her go than force her to stay. All right, I said, leaning over, grabbing my laptop and handing it to Maddie. You got work to do. Right. Yeah, let's do it. I got more names. Good. Okay, Maddie commented while opening and preparing the laptop. Go. Darren and Brooke, Caleb, Jacob, Darren, and Brooke. I listed. And make sure you add some keywords like tragedy or murder. Oh, and the location, because the house is probably local. Yeah, I got it, Maddie said, already typing. I let her have at it as I diverted my attention between her and Sammy. He was still out, no signs of a nightmare or anything else. I listened as the wind outside ravaged, and it filled me with a dark feeling. Until now, leaving had been an option. Until now, if worse came to worse, I could at least gather them up in the car and drive away someplace. Until now. Thank you for the follow, Corey. That's a lot of 9s. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream enough to want to hang out with us some more. Let me catch up on chat and get a drink of water since I'm paused. What would happen if someone busted a nut on Mars? I don't know. That's a question for someone's... You kind of want to try it? Oh, wait. Why do you think she is so against eating cat food? It might have been her fish neighbors. Oh, it would shoot you far into space. I mean, that could be true for all I know. I ain't no scientist. Uh-oh, she's reading chat. Need to go into hiding. No worries. I'm surprised you're still here, Ryan. Scatter. Don't read up, Astral. Nothing to see. Oh my gosh, you guys are something else. You know that? But that's what I love about y'all. Y'all are a bunch of dorks. Hi, Weeb. It's good to see you. I'm doing pretty good. I did wake up. We had a nice raid from Steph. Oh, thank you for the shout out. I totally didn't even think about it. I'm so bad about the shout outs. Sorry, I'm scrolling through to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, yeah, I did miss a few. I don't condone forcefully removing fish from their homes, but I condone fish taking over the world. Makes sense. Well, we can have fish taking over in the astral plane. Everything is everything in the astral plane. You know, y'all talk about Astral being a cat, but have you ever seen her legs? Mermaid confirmed. Oh my gosh, you found me out. But yes, they most definitely have seen my legs. I don't have to say such truth. Why is her hair so blue? Bet she's hiding some flippers on. Oh my gosh. You guys need to stop digging. I'm gonna have to do some chloroform ASMR on you later. The cat ear cap was nothing more than a diversion. Fake legs for sure. Alright. I checked the clock. To my surprise, it was only a little after midnight. I had hoped it was later. The thought of 8 more hours of darkness was deeply distressing. "Dad," Maddie called out after about 15 to 20 minutes of sleuthing. "Yeah?" I think I got something. I was instantly alert. "Really?" I asked. Maddie began to pass me the laptop. "Read this." I sat it on my lap, and my eyes adjusted to the screen. I was faced with an older-looking website. It featured a sky blue background with basic black Times New Roman text that was only a little hard to read. At the top, a banner written in word art which read "Maritime Mysteries," along with a few clip art images of boat helms and anchors. Below it, the title of the article, which I read out loud: "Ashbrook House, Nova Scotia's Murder Manor." "Sounds promising," I muttered. "Keep reading," Maddie insisted. It was clunky and unprofessional looking, but oddly that made me trust it. This was clearly a passion project, and I began silently reading the unformatted wall of text. "Throughout history, there have been places that seem to attract tragedy. The Cecil Hotel, Aokigahara Forest, Hawthorne Woods. But there is another location, dear readers, that not many know about, and it lives right under our noses." Good enough start. The next few paragraphs seemed like fluff, so I skimmed over them and dug into the meat of the article. The first tragic event, on record, would occur shortly after the house's construction in 1956, when the first owner, a 58-year-old woman named Catherine McKinstray, suffered a brain aneurysm in the house's basement and died. Less than 2 years later, 46-year-old Brent O'Malley would also perish in the very same spot due to a carbon monoxide leak. Only 1 year after that, 27-year-old Julia Fairsview would die by falling down the basement stairs. In the eyes of many, this solidified the house's reputation as cursed. Further owners would even talk about seeing ghosts of those departed roaming around the house. I gave Maddie an unsure glance, and she returned it with one of absolute certainty. Her eyes simply said, "Keep fucking reading." So I did. The tragedies did not end with accidents, however, as on September 9th, 1963, a man by the name of Bill Leterrier brutally murdered his son Caleb. That name smacked me right in the face. I was right. The child was Caleb. The child was murdered by his father. I continued, "And wife Joanne with an axe." When officers arrived on the scene after a neighbor's 911 call, they would find Bill covered in blood with cuts all over his person, determined to have been caused by shards of a broken bathroom mirror. Whether from a struggle or self-inflicted, nobody knows. Bill would chillingly utter the words, "The house always wins," before slamming his own face into the sharp edge of his axe until dead. The bodies of Caleb and Joanne were found in the basement. The hair on the back of my neck stood on end. This was it. Ashbrook House was the place. Caleb was the child. Bill the terrier was the sharp man. Maddie did it. We have our lead. I decided to read on. From that event onwards, talk of the house's curse spiked. Reports of paranormal incidents would skyrocket. Many future owners would flee the house with little explanation. Curiously, beyond the events that took place within the house was also home to multiple individuals who would go on to commit terrible crimes elsewhere. Darren Barb... Hold on, wait. Rainmaker, wasn't Barbo was from Black Susan, right? Or am I misremembering? Oh my god, I love that. Is that just an Easter egg, or is it like, is this all in the same universe? Nate, out of all the beverages, aside from water, what would a fish be able... That's an interesting question. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so cool, Rainmaker. I'm glad you did that. Sounds like a call out to the Salem's Lot question. Can a place be evil? I guess we're gonna find out. So my theory right now, I'm wondering, because it definitely seems like the house is like an entity of its own, and since this basement did not come from their house, I'm wondering if people stopped going to that house, so it had to just like go find new victims. It had to get itself to other areas. But yeah, that's great, Rainmaker. I love that. Sorry, I had to blow my nose. I swear my nose has been just so bad. I don't know if it's allergies or if it's how dry it's been, but yeah, my nose has been in rough shape recently. All right. Darren Barbo, Jacob Lightbody, and Fraser Kane had all stayed in Ashbrook House at one point or another in their youth. Whether they had committed any of their crimes inside the house is unknown. Those names each had their own hyperlinks. I could only imagine what I would learn if I clicked them, but I had no desire to go down more rabbit holes at the moment. I got the picture, part of it anyway. That's it, isn't it? Maddie asked, seeing that I had finished reading. That's it. Holy shit, that's it, I responded. See if you can find the address, I added, passing the laptop back. Little Cutie... Aw, that's a cute name. And not just because it says cute in it. Thank you for the follow, Lil Cutie. I'm glad you're enjoying the stream. As cathartic as it was to finally solve this crucial piece of the puzzle, it did leave me with two new burning questions that I chose not to share. Number 1, there were only 5 deaths mentioned in that article. So where did the rest of the voices come from? Number 2 is, why? Why did Bill Okay, I'm guessing I've probably been saying it wrong. It's probably like Leterrier. So I'll start saying it that way. Why did Bill Leterrier kill his family? Why did multiple murderers live in that house? Why did he say the house always wins? Is there something else in that house? Something even worse than the sharp man himself? Shit, Maddie said, taking me out of my mental wandering. She began to read aloud from the screen. Edit. The address of Ashbrook House has been removed at the request of the house's current owner, David Wyatt. We have agreed to respect their privacy and urge all others to do the same. Shit, wait, so someone lives there right now? I asked. Apparently. Interesting. Might have to talk to that David Wyatt then. I'll work on that. Thanks, Mads, I said, standing up from the couch. Just going to the bathroom quick. Watch the kid. I was dreading this inevitable trip, leaving the relative safety of the open living room, going down that dark hallway past that damn door. I resolved to be as quick as possible. I walked briskly down the hall, into the bathroom, feeling somewhat safe in the bright light. My mind anticipated something to happen, but I was able to finish up quickly. I washed my hands, but over the sound of the running water, I heard the faintest little clink. Then a tiny sliver of glass fell from the mirror past my hands into the sink. I remembered this, but what did it mean? Puzzled, I looked up to see where it came from, and I screamed. Staring back at me from the mirror wasn't my own face. I knew exactly whose face it was. Blood pooled in his toothy smile as it cascaded down from a multitude of long, deep cuts. He had long, patchy, wispy hair that looked like he had torn most of it out. His skin pulled and twisted to the whim of the slits in his flesh, creating unnatural curvatures. One of his eyelids was severed completely, the split down the middle of his face. That enormous gash from the axe he had turned on himself. It went so deep it was like a cavern. I turned to run out of the bathroom, but the door was stuck. I pulled and pulled until I heard a loud shattering crash behind me. I looked back, and the mirror was broken into a million pieces, and the sharp man was gone. I screamed again as I pounded and tugged at the door. I heard commotion on the other side. "Dad!" Maddie shouted. I felt her pulling at the door from the other side. I looked back once more, and the shatter marks began to bleed. But then the door finally gave way, and I nearly crashed into Maddie. "Fuck!" I shouted. "Jesus fucking Christ! What happened?" I ignored her question and grabbed her arm to run back to the living room. "Wait!" she exclaimed. "Where's Sammy?" My heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean, where's Sammy?" I didn't want to leave him alone in the living room, so I woke him up and brought him with me. He was right beside me. I was holding on to him. No, shit, I uttered, panicking. I instantly walked to the basement door. The chair was still propped up in front of it, but that didn't deter me from thinking he somehow got down there. That was still the most likely option. But how? How did he get down there so fast? "Check the living room, check the bedrooms. I'm going down," I instructed. "Yell everywhere you go. Yell so I can hear." "Okay, Dad, be careful," she pleaded. Rainmaker, there's another connection you can say after we're done if you... Okay, I'll try to remember as well. I'll try to remember to remind you. Ooh, herbal teas? Yeah, I could definitely see some river fish in particular being able to swim in herbal teas, Nate. Let me grab a drink of water real quick. I moved the chair and opened the door. I was smart enough to keep the flashlight on me this time. I briskly walked down the cavernous basement steps. "Sam!" I screamed, pointing the flashlight in all directions. The damn ticking sound made its presence heard. "He's not in the living room," Maddie yelled, just loud enough for me to hear. I moved the flashlight around every inch, but I saw nothing. He had to be here, I thought. This was always the place. Where else would he be? "He's not in my room," Maddie yelled down once again. "Sam!" I repeated to no avail. "Dad!" Maddie screamed. Her voice was full of horror. My heart sank and I ran back up the stairs. I looked to my right and I saw Maddie standing outside the door to Sammy's room. "What is it?" Tears were streaming down Maddie's face as she merely pointed into the room. I ran over and looked inside. The window was wide open. End of chapter 5. That was a pretty long chapter, or maybe it was just because I got so distracted. Let's catch up on chat a bit, and I think I'm actually going to take a quick bathroom break as well. Oh no, the Gabagoops are back. Hi, Maze. It's so good to see you. No, Derpy, don't you do this too. Sniper, you're corrupting my mod. No, you're corrupting both of my mods. Alright, let me set you guys up with 3 minutes of ads. If you don't want to watch them, do not worry. What is Gabagoop? It's just something Sniper started saying. You do as you please. You definitely do. But I'm going to set you up with 3 minutes of ads. If you don't want to watch them, no worries. You can dip out for those 3 minutes. We will not continue the story until everyone gets back from ad break and until I get back from the bathroom break. So ooh, nice. Nate, you got the golden crown. End of chapter 5 is where you need to hand in the towel. It's late here and you need to go to sleep and be up in 6 hours. Well, thanks for hanging out, Fan. It was good to see you. I'm glad you decided to stick around for a while, but yeah, you definitely need some sleep. 6 hours is not a lot of time. So have a good rest, Fan. Gabagool, the Sopranos. You guys are weird. Alright, let me put you on the Astral train, and I will get you all set up with some ads, and I'll be Alright, looks like there's just a few seconds left on the ad break. I am feeling so much better. I hope you all got your breaks taken care of too. Welcome back, everyone. I just got back myself. Alright, let's catch up on chat, and then we will continue our story. Oh, hi, Mitochi. How are you doing? It's good to see you again. I popped in and lurked on your Marvel Rivals stream for a little bit earlier. Derpy or Nate, if you haven't already, would you mind giving Mitochi a quick shout out? Cozy. I'm glad. I try to keep it cozy, but we get a little excitable sometimes. Oh, Mitochi, you tagged the wrong person? Is spaced out. Oh my gosh, all those crows, they're so cute. Where did you get those? Kitsy? I'm gonna have to check them out. I'm curious if they have emotes like that. I'm curious what they're like. Oh, Cleo, you didn't get ads? Interesting. Oh, do you have an ad blocker or something? Chat wants you to go to sleep, but you're not tired. Derpy, you're just gonna have to go to sleep. You're gonna be so tired in the morning if you don't get your sleep. You're definitely giving them a follow. Oh, the emote person, okay. I'm doing pretty good. I'm enjoying this story, and we had a nice raid from Steph, so it's been a good stream so far. I have been very distracted though, so I've only gotten one chapter done. I'm in the reading and writing, or the reading and writing category, and I have done very little reading except reading chat messages. Oh, you were lagging in Marvel Rivals because it's not that optimized yet? That's too bad. I'm sorry. How was it, though? Did you have a good stream regardless? You guys have some goofy emotes. Oh, you're on the Twitch app? Shouldn't you still get ads, though? Interesting. Alright. Let's go ahead and continue our story. Let's jump in to chapter 6, The Snow. The next 5 minutes were a whirlwind. Sammy was nowhere to be found. His bedroom window, which had been locked, was now wide open and blowing snow inside. Maddie was crying, but we weren't without hope. All of that snow had in this moment been a godsend. I could see his tracks through the window go into the woods behind our house. But I didn't have much time. He couldn't survive out there for long. Call the police and wait here, I instructed Maddie while I quickly flung my winter coat on. Without hesitation, I saw her wipe her tears away and get the phone out. I slid on my winter boots, grabbed the flashlight, and ran out the front door before I could hear her make the call. I made my way around the side of the house to Sammy's window and began to follow the child-sized boot prints. I sprinted after them, shouting Sammy's name over and over again. The snow was beginning to come down even harder, and the wind was blowing fast. The tracks still looked fresh, but it wouldn't be long before they were covered. Tracks didn't seem to end. He must have been running too. Running from what? I looked back and I couldn't see the light of my house anymore. nor the light of anything except my flashlight against the blanket of white. The jacket and boots didn't offer much protection from the elements as I hoped. Nights like this required so much more. The cold was biting hard. I must have been running for 20 minutes, only ever briefly stopping for a breath, desperate to catch up to the poor boy who must have been freezing. I couldn't bear the thought. Maddie said he was right beside her, so he couldn't have gotten his coat before he climbed out of that window. He snuck out into the snowstorm in his damn pajamas, didn't even have his boots. I stopped, looking at the tracks before me. Small boots, definitely boots. This wasn't Sammy, so whose tracks were these? The child, Caleb? But why? Why, I pondered, the words spinning in my head like a washing machine. But then it hit. To get me away from the house. It was a trick. Fuck, I left Maddie alone in that goddamn house. I turned back around and ran once again, hoping that the tracks would remain long enough to find my way home. I wanted to run faster, but I could only trudge. Snow got heavier and heavier. The wind nearly knocked me on my ass. This wasn't just heavy snow anymore. This was a blizzard, a bad one. My face began to sting, and my extremities started going numb. The relentless wind fought me every step. Snow felt like needles against my skin. I was wholly unprepared. I began doing the math. I ran nonstop for about 20 minutes. At the rate I was moving now, it was going to take at least twice as long to get back. That is, if it didn't get worse. And if I didn't get lost. For unfortunately, both of those things happened. The snow reached my knees, and it showed no signs of slowing. The tracks were gone. I was running out of time. Felt like I was going to die, and it was becoming a scarily real possibility. Is this what they wanted? Had they all been plotting this, even the child? All of their jumbled up words and phrases replayed in my mind. I hadn't had a chance to try and make sense of them. They wanted so desperately to communicate with me. They were trying to warn me. Why would they warn me if they wanted to kill me? That didn't add up. Must have been something else. I trudged further and further. I couldn't feel my face anymore, and my legs desperately wanted to give out, but I couldn't allow them to. What were they warning me of? What were they trying to tell me? I was missing something. Something itching at the back of my mind. What was it? What did I miss? The house always wins. Were they all part of the house? Did it have some power over them? Were they not in control? My body was shutting down. My hand couldn't grasp the flashlight anymore. It just slipped from my fingers and buried in the snow. I stuffed my numb hand into my jacket pocket, hoping to give it some chance at regaining feeling. But the damage was done. My toes were gone too. The snow no longer melted when it hit my face. It just stuck there. Everything was slowing down to a crawl. It took a monumental effort to even remain upright. It took almost as much effort to keep my eyes open in the constant barrage of snow hitting me like a shotgun. Just don't stop moving, I thought to myself. If you stop, you die. But it was so hard now. Was I even close to being home? Once I got home, what could I do in this state? What could I possibly do if Maddie was in danger? Maddie, I failed her. Not just today, but so many times. I put Sammy first. I put him first because he needed me more. But they both needed me. They both needed more than me. Somewhere in the second hour, I collapsed. My feet gave way and I dropped to my knees. My numb hands plunged into the snow. I couldn't get up. I physically couldn't. But I couldn't stop either. I had to keep moving. So I crawled. I finally closed my eyes. I didn't suppose it mattered much to be able to see anymore. When they shut, I saw Maddie, 12 years old, peering at me from the bathroom door. I knew exactly what memory this was. I hated this memory. Maddie was always a bit of a handful as a kid. The preteen years were pretty ugly, especially after her mom left. How do you explain that? How could I possibly fill that void? She blamed me for Steph leaving. She told me constantly that she was going to go live with her, that one day she was going to come pick her up. Every day that didn't happen, she resented me even more. I couldn't fix it. I couldn't be her mother. I couldn't be what she needed me to be. Especially since I had a screaming 9-month-old baby that I had to make not die on top of all that. But I'm a parent, so that's what you do. You push it down and you do the impossible. But above all, you never let them see the damage. But I wasn't good enough. I wasn't strong enough. There was this one day, this one damn day, I just ran out of steam. I sat on the floor of the bathroom with this screaming infant in my arms. I can't even remember what it was that set me over the edge. But it all came to the surface and I broke down. I cried and I sobbed and I wailed. It was too much. It was too hard. I couldn't do it. Then I saw her face, peeking through the bathroom door, staring at me. I'll never forget the look on her face, the look in her eyes. She was never supposed to see me like that. From that moment on, she never complained again. She never acted out. She never yelled. She started helping out around the house. She started helping taking care of Sammy, and it was great. I was so proud of her. All it cost her was her childhood. And then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. You're a dork, Sniper. I'm gonna grab another drink and catch up on chat because y'all have been a little chatty. Also, hi X. It's good to see you. I'm sorry I didn't catch your message sooner. I was hoping to get to a good stopping point, but it kind of just kept going. Mitochi, it was good. Stream was chill. You got some wins and then saw the community awards. Oh, nice. I don't know what the community awards are exactly, but it sounds very cool. Yeah, mega goofball. Y'all are a bunch of mega goofballs. Aw, Derpy, you're in bed covered in blankets. So cute. I'm actually just picturing you as like an actual crow, though. Nate, you just have this on the couch with a bowl of yogurt and ooh, yogurt and berries sounds really good. I give you your 50 gold doubloons, Cleo. No gold doubloons for Cleo. You can have them when you're older. I mean, derpy cheese is close enough. It can be about the same color as the doubloons. It can make your blood curdle just as bad as this milk in 20 minutes. You're so weird, Nate. Saw the opportunity and you took it, Sniper. No, it was a good one. You rest in memes. There was VRC Community Awards event. Okay. Yeah, I remember hearing about that. Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see who got different awards and stuff. I'm sure I know a couple of people who got things. Makes you want to make some hot cocoa while in bed and fall asleep. Super cozy. Aw, that sounds really nice. Just curling up with some cocoa and having some nice warm lighting around. Maybe some snow falling outside. Steve Harwell. I don't know who Steve Harwell is. Alright, let's get back to our story. I failed her that day. I let her see the damage. Then I failed her every single day since by accepting all her help. It was selfish. If I was a better dad, she wouldn't have had to sacrifice so much. She could still be a kid. But I took that from her. I forced her to grow up because I wasn't good enough. Because I couldn't hack it. Oh, Nate, he's the guy who sang All Star. Okay, so the Smash Mouth guy. Alright. See, I like Smash Mouth's version of I'm a Believer, but I like the Monkeys version better. Alright, focus. Gonna focus on this. Every day I wish she would just ask me for something. One thing. One favor. Ask me for help. I wish she would be difficult or be angry. Nag me for things like she used to. Disobey. Get into mischief. That's what kids are supposed to do, but that part of her died. Because of me. Now I've exposed her to this too. I brought her in and made her a part of this because I still couldn't hack it. I was dying. I knew it. I failed again. But I felt something under my arm. An edge. Leading to something hard, but smoother than the ground. It creaked as I put weight on it. I managed to force my eyes open to make sure I wasn't mistaken. The steps leading up to the porch, I made it. I actually made it. It took every bit of energy I had left to hoist myself up the stairs, even more to reach the doorknob and somehow open it without use of my fingers, but I managed. Thank you, Derpy. Let's get that hydrate. The door swung open with my limp body against it, and I collapsed into the safety of my home. From the floor, I kicked the door, closed behind me, and then I laid, waiting for the warmth to reach me. It took forever for me to even begin feeling again. In the meantime, I mustered up the lung power to shout, "Maddie!" No answer. No cops either. What happened? Did she not call? Could they just not reach us in the weather? Maddie! Still nothing. What have I done? Maddie! Sammy, where are you? I shouted, my voice cracking and stumbling with every word. The house was quiet. The only sound was the whistling of the gale force outside the creaks of the structure struggling to withstand it. I crawled through the living room, down the long hallway and into the bathroom. I crawled through the broken glass of the mirror and climbed into the tub, letting the shower head rain warm water upon me. The warmth gradually enveloped me and pierced through the numbness. My fingers and toes began to move again. I was elated that they weren't gone for good, but that didn't stop the tears from flowing. Just like that night all those years ago, I broke. How could I not? Both of their faces tormented my thoughts. They trusted me, and I let them both down. I gave myself until my muscles came back online to indulge in my breakdown. Then I had to stuff it all back deep inside and fix it. The strength in my legs took longer to come back, but eventually I couldn't stand unaided. I exited the bathroom, but eventually I could stand unaided. I exited the bathroom in my dripping wet clothes and immediately headed for the basement. I didn't know what my plan was, but down there was my only bet. I flung the door open, which took more effort than I was expecting. I was still far too weak. I looked down into the abyss. Pitch black. My flashlight was buried. I had no way of seeing, but I went down anyway. Step after step, my senses heightened. I didn't know what I hoped to find. I tripped on the last step and fell on my face against the cold concrete. A dull pain shot through me. Oh, someone talking. Yeah, I'm sorry, Derpy. That's my roommates. They're kinda loud. But hopefully it's not too intrusive. But yeah, sorry about that, you guys. Thought it was just you. No, it was not a hallucination, Nate. Step after step, it was very much okay. That's good. Yeah, I never. I always feel bad when it happens, though. I'm glad it's muffled, though. Like I'll see the little mic meter like go up when it happens, and I'm like, oh, there's only so much I can do about it, you know. All right, give me a second. Oh, wait, I did that hydrate. Okay, Mitochi, I will do your posture check in just a bit. Oh, first time you've ever noticed it? That makes me feel a little better. Give me just a sec. Alright, Mitochi, let's get your posture check. Get those back straight. I want to see all of you with proper posture. Back straight, shoulders back, and boobs out. And now we have our proper posture. We need to tackle these ghosts with confidence, everyone. Step after step, my senses heightened. I didn't know what I hoped to find. I tripped on the last step and fell on my face. Oh, I read that part. Fuck, I exclaimed out loud. I miscounted the steps. Or did I? I got up to my feet and lurched forward, only to trip once again. Some object in my way. It sounded like a bag. I moved my hands around the space and connected with more random objects. Plastic, fabric, cardboard. No, I thought. It can't be. I shuffled back towards the steps and felt along the wall for the light switch. The light switch that hadn't worked ever since the basement changed. I found the switch and flicked it on, and my suspicions were proven correct. The light came on. The basement was ours. All of our stuff was back, all of our clutter, everything was back in its rightful place once again. The steps had the correct number. Even that feeling, that deep foreboding, that inexplicable dread was gone. It took with it my hope. What could I do now? What happened? Where were they? I ran back up the stairs. I paced around the entire house looking for something, anything. I screamed, "Where are they? What have you done to them? What do you want? Talk to me. Tell me what you want. Give them back to me. Give them back." I shouted over and over into the air. I picked up the landline and shouted into it, praying that the voices would call out to me again. But I was only met with a dial tone. I threw the phone to the floor and then I collapsed in a heap. My head throbbed. The snow had begun to ease, but it would still be a while before driving would be possible. Even if I knew where they were, I couldn't get there. The thought of being stuck in this house while my kids were all alone with whatever it was made me want to scream. The utter silence felt like a sadistic taunt, a constant reminder of my failure, my powerlessness. Just wanted to curl up and die. I wanted this all to be over somehow. I couldn't deal with this. All the thoughts of what could be happening to my children, I couldn't bear it. But one little voice remained. The same little voice that told me, "Just don't stop moving." And it was saying the exact same thing now. That little voice saved me, and now I needed it to save them. Keep moving. Don't stop. If you stop, they die. It doesn't matter if it's impossible. That's what you do when you're a parent. You hurt, you cry, you reach your limit, you go insane, and then you do it. End of chapter 6. We're getting closer. Oh my gosh. Nobody let Cleo. Oh my gosh, Derpy, you gave Cleo the fire. We're gonna be in trouble. Alright, let me take another quick drink of water. I cannot wait for winter to be over, you guys. Like, this dry weather is just the worst. Oh, Mitochi. You especially liked the descriptions of the cold. Yeah, when he was just like, struggling to get through, like crawling through the snow and stuff, that was really rough. Don't hear a lot of winter survival stuff. Rainmaker, you hate winter? Had to walk in a blizzard today and felt well, I guess you do have to take what you write from somewhere. But yeah, that's a lot of snow. Like, I think it said it was up to his knees. So yeah, that's a crazy amount, especially in such a short time. All right, chapter 7, the house. I didn't have a logical reason for why I knew my children would be at that house, but none of this had been logical from the start. The room went back to where it came from, and it took them with it. That was my conclusion. I opened my laptop and saw the unfinished search Maddie had begun on David Wyatt, current owner of Ashbrook House. I had to find him. There was no way he could live in that house and not know something. David Wyatt, I need to talk to you about Ashbrook House. It's urgent. Please respond. I typed, then copied and pasted into the messages of every profile with that name on every social network I knew of. Then I got out the phone book and began making calls. Only took about 2 hours for me to get a favorable response. Facebook does have its uses after all. I have nothing to say about Ashbrook House. Please respect my privacy, the message read. I typed back with haste. It's an emergency. My kids are in danger. Please call me so I can explain. Then I left my cell phone number. About a minute later, I received a call.
Who are you? What happened?
A stern, gravelly voice asked through the receiver. I wasn't sure how to start. I wanted to explain everything from the beginning, but I didn't want to waste time or lose his attention. How could I explain this when I don't even know what's happening? My name is Adam, and I think my kids might be in your basement. I cringed. That sounded so odd to say.
What?
The voice replied, clearly dumbfounded. I sighed. Look, I know you know something's wrong with your house. You wouldn't have picked up the phone if you didn't. I don't know how to say this except that your house has been tormenting my family. My kids are gone. I think it took them. I need your address. I need your help.
No, he exclaimed. God damn it, why were your kids trespassing on my property? How did they get in?
No, they weren't. We've never been near your house, any of us. One day our basement changed. Oh, good night, Mitochi. Probably going to go eat. It's almost 2 a.m. Oh my gosh, yeah, go get some sleep. It is way too late for you. Have a good night. Yeah, thank you for popping in, Mitochi. It was good of you to hang around. Derpy, you like winter only because you can sleep in a mountain of blankets. Everything else sucks. Yeah, okay, so I like winter. Mika, thank you. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. I'm glad you're enjoying enough to want to hang out with us. But yeah, cuddling up is really nice. Thank you for everything. Really appreciate. Aw, of course. Hope we see you again sometime. But yeah, I like the snow as long as I don't have to go out in it. Like, it's really pretty. So if I can just sit inside and be warm and just look at it through the window, that's great. I love that. But, you know, I hate the dry weather because, I mean, it's always dry here anyway. You're seeing Dram? What do you mean you're seeing Dram? You're an odd one, Cleo. But yeah, it's mostly the dryness and having to shovel or drive in snow is what I don't like. Okay, you're suing Dram? What are you suing Dram for? Okay, there we are. We are all dorks here, Cleo. They weren't. We've never been near your house, any of us. One day our basement changed. It wasn't our basement anymore. I have reason to believe it was yours. I don't know how, I don't know why, but one day I opened a door to a room that wasn't mine and something else came with it. It took them. And now it's gone. I need to find them. Taking your time. Yeah, Dram does take my time. I'll let her know you're suing her. The other end went silent for a moment, but I couldn't spare that moment, so I continued. I'm completely snowed in, so it might take an hour or two for me to get there. Can you at least look for them? Can we get the cops involved?
I've never stepped foot in that house, Adam,
David explained. What?
I bought that house to let it rot. I've never been inside. I will never go inside or allow anyone else to go inside.
His words chilled me to the core, but I had to remain stoic. Okay, so you know how dangerous it is. My kids are in there. Let me call the police.
No police.
Why not?
They will have to break the locks to get inside. The locks mustn't be broken.
What does that matter? I'll pay for your locks.
The locks mustn't be broken,
he reasserted. I didn't understand what he meant or why that was so important, but I believed the intent behind his words, and I knew he would not budge. Then I'll go. You tell me how to get inside without breaking the locks.
Adam, I strongly advise you to stay away from it. It's not what you think it is.
I don't care. I don't have a choice. You have to see that.
Those articles you probably read online. They didn't tell you everything. If you go in there...
Do you have kids, David? I cut him off.
I do.
Then you know I have to... Oh no. Sorry, I just shot my screen away from me. Then you know I have to get in that house. I'm not gonna stop. I can find your address some other way. There will be other records, and if you don't tell me how to get inside, I will break your locks. I have to get them back. Another minute of silence on the other end. This time, I let the silence sit.
I've messaged you the address. Do what you think you have to do.
Thank you, David.
I really thought it was over. I thought I had starved it.
David muttered in a more melancholic voice. I didn't really expect him to divulge more. What is it that's inside Ashbrook? What else do you know? I prodded. I needed to know everything I could.
The articles talk about the deaths that occur in the house, the murders, the accidents. They don't tell you about what happened outside the house.
I heard a deep sigh from the other end and a throat clearing.
My daughter lived in Ashbrook. About a week into her staying there, she told me she thought it was haunted. She didn't take it seriously, and neither did I. 2 more weeks and she left the house. She showed up at my door crying. I didn't really believe her stories, but I knew she wouldn't lie. She wasn't like that. I let her stay with me until we figured it out.
He paused and I heard shuffling on his end. He seemed to be trying to make himself more comfortable to tell his story.
She never went back to that house again. We both thought that was the end of it, but it wasn't. She changed. I saw it every day she stayed with me. She was never the same. My daughter was incredibly gifted. Such a strong head on her shoulders, and smart. So much smarter than me. She was a nurse, for God's sake. The girl that came back from that house. Something was missing, and it only got worse. Had her see shrinks, all kinds of doctors. She got pills, nothing helped. Every day she was less.
I'm so sorry, I interjected solemnly. David ignored my comment and continued, determined to make his point.
I wake up one night and go to check on her, and she was gone, dead, slumped over her desk. She left a note, and I couldn't even read her writing. My daughter wouldn't do that. If you knew her, you would know. She would never. But it all started with that house, so I get to digging. I look at the house's history. But I also look at the history of those who left, who ran away like my daughter did. Sure enough, the same patterns kept emerging. Mental psychosis, sudden depression, sudden illness, physical and psychological deterioration. 6 of them ended up taking their own lives. 6. 4 others succumbed in other ways.
A pit formed in my stomach. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. This was so much worse than I could have imagined.
That's what it does. That's what it did to all of them. It tricks you. It torments you. It imprints itself upon you. Breaks your walls down, and then it takes your health, takes your sanity, takes your joy. Takes whatever it wants, whatever you value, until you are sucked dry, withered, unrecognizable to the people you love. Then you belong to it. Then it can use what remains of you to torment the next person.
What is it? A demon? Oh, I keep arching my tracking is kind of a pain. It's being kind of stubborn right now. Here, let me adjust some things. Oh wait, did I lose? Okay, no, I did not lose my tracking, so it's, I don't know. It's just being a pain. Came back to deep voice Astral. Yeah, this guy's supposed to have a deep gravelly voice, and I can't quite get the gravelly part, but you know, we're doing what we can. Suing Dram for treasure. I'll let her know. What is it? A demon?
That's the go-to, I suppose. I don't think it works like that. You want to label it, you want to put it in a box, you want to learn the rules, but you can't. No one can. There are no rules. If there were rules, we wouldn't be able to understand them anyway. But if you want to know what I think, I'll tell you. I think it's evil. I think it feeds on misery and pain. I think it's a parasite. It dripped into our world the moment that lady had an aneurysm in the basement. It grew like a mold in that very spot with every subsequent tragedy, until it was strong enough to inflict tragedy, to infect tragedy, to feed on it. Once it got Leterrier to kill for it, it fully crossed the threshold. Leterrier is the form it likes to use the most, the one it's most proud of.
The concept of this evil thing having a sense of pride in its work made me shudder. I didn't want to believe this explanation. David concluded his story.
I bought the house to starve it, but apparently it found a way. Because it doesn't play by our rules. The only thing I know for sure is that it takes. Sometimes it takes for weeks, sometimes it takes for decades. Sometimes it has a different plan for you entirely, but it will take.
It will take. Those words rung through my mind again and again. Long after our conversation ended, they stuck in my head while I vigorously shoveled a path down the driveway. They stuck in my head while I tried desperately to get my car in drivable condition. They stuck in my head as I drove down the long, dark country road, headed for the address David gave me. Trying to understand how the basement switched never failed to give me a headache, but I couldn't help think about it all. I had wished there was a logical explanation, but David was right. It doesn't play by our rules. It is beyond our understanding. People stopped coming to it, so it had to come to them. So it just did. Why move the whole room? Maybe it is the room. We know nothing of its form. Maybe every time I walked into that basement, I was walking into its mouth. Why us? Does it matter? Was it random? There had to be a reason the rooms looked so similar. Maybe that's the key. Maybe it could only move to a room that was similar enough. But there I am, trying to put rules on it again. No. I think it chose our basement because it knew it would drive me crazy. A completely different room? That's easy. Leave, call scientists, become famous for having the house that broke the laws of space and time, but a room that's just a little different. A little bit off, in ways only I would notice. How could I not obsess? This thing, this demon, parasite, whatever it may be, it's smart. It's been playing me from the beginning. It probably still is. David agreed to meet me at the house, to give me whatever it was I needed to get inside. I was glad to have him on my side, even if I forced his hand with my threats. I made it past the long stretch of emptiness, and my car struggled not to get stuck in the snow or swerve off the road. I found my way into the small town of Coldwell, took a left, then a right, then found myself on a long street far away from the shops. Long driveways with mailboxes were spread out generously along the street. The numbers on those mailboxes ticked down as I passed them. 412, 410, 408. Was almost there. My steely determination began to break. My anxiety was rising. I saw the house slowly coming into view with a large green Jeep parked a ways out in front. David stuck to his word, though I could tell he was keeping his distance even now. I parked alongside him and got out, making sure to grab my spare flashlight. I saw a man step out of the Jeep at the same time. His voice fit him well. The impression I had of him in my head was almost completely correct. Salt and pepper hair, just a dash longer than a military cut. Square jaw, scowl that looked like his default mode. Then I finally got a look at the house. Don't know what I expected. Of course, it wasn't going to look like a haunted house, but still, it was smaller than I thought it would be. It didn't tower over me. It didn't have some grand, foreboding presence. It was just a house. Quaint, 2 stories, still bigger than mine, but absolutely nothing special. The only significant things about it were the barbed wire fence and the numerous signs warning against trespassers. No doubt David's doing.
Adam?
David greeted coldly. David, I responded in kind.
I don't suppose I can talk you out of this.
David assumed correctly. No.
Even after everything I told you?
What would you do, man? If you had a chance to get your daughter out of there... It felt dirty invoking his deceased daughter, but I knew he had to understand. David paused a moment, then shook his head and reached into his jacket pocket. He held up 3 keys and pointed to one of them.
Gate.
He pointed to the second,
Front door.
finally to the third.
Basement.
I took them from him, puzzled at the simplicity of it. That's it? So I can't break the locks, but I can unlock the locks. That's not a problem?
It's not about the lock. It's about the belief in what a lock is.
David responded cryptically. I wanted to hurry up and get inside, but I couldn't let that statement hang. What does that mean?
This thing, it's not physical. A hunk of metal doesn't matter to it. The physical doesn't matter. I told you it takes away from us our joy and our love. These aren't real things. These are concepts, abstracts, symbols, ideas. That's what this thing deals in. So I use locks for the same reason I keep a grandfather clock in the hallway. The locks contain it to the house. The clock contains it to time.
That was a lot to absorb even after all this. So far beyond me. This man had clearly been in the weeds for a long time. How many things had he tried and failed? How much research had he done? Well, the lock didn't seem to work since it invaded my house, I countered.
But it did work. It's bound to the basement. It never moved. It was never really in your house. It just sent you a window. You were the ones who stepped through it. Every time you stepped foot in that basement, you were here.
What makes you so sure? David chuckled with legitimate amusement and threw up his hands.
Nothing. I haven't been sure of a single thing since what happened to Haley. Look at me. I'm no scientist. I don't know anything. I've just been dealing with this shit for too damn long.
David let out one more sigh and the smile drained from his face.
Good luck, Adam. I hope you find some peace. Make sure you lock those doors as soon as you enter and as soon as you exit. Do not leave them unlocked and do not break the locks.
He offered me a handshake and I accepted it. The look in his eyes was one of resignation. I could see that he had thought he was sending me to my death. Maybe he was right. I walked up the long dirt path to the rusty, battered chain-link gate and inserted the first key into the padlock. The rickety gate gave way, and I quickly shut it behind me, being sure to lock it back up. I made my way to the cracked stone path onto the porch, staring down the unassuming front door. Just an ordinary wooden white door, and yet was the door to hell. The point of no return. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. I took a deep breath and plunged key number 2 into the lock, turning it until I heard a click. It was time. Time to do what you have to do. Time to be a dad. That's the end of chapter 7. Let me grab a drink of water, because the deep voice especially takes it out of me. And where's my water? There it is. And then let's catch up on chat a little bit. The heck is military mode? Yeah, do you mean military time? Yeah, like 2300, that would be military time. Classic Dante's Inferno quote. It's a classic for a reason. It's a good one. All right, everyone. This is the last chapter, and then we have an epilogue after. It does look like we're getting close, so maybe this chapter will be a little shorter. Military mode. Oh, do you mean when I said the scowl was his default mode? And yeah, his haircut was similar to a military cut. Let me see if I can find this spot again. If this is the right line. Okay, so so the line I think you were talking about was salt and pepper hair just a dash longer than a military cut, a square jaw, and a scowl that looked like his default mode. I think that's the line you were thinking of. Oh my gosh, Cleo, did you just do a Billy Madison quote? I approve. Alright, let's get this last chapter. I can tell a lot of you are getting tired because we have lost a lot of people on this journey. We have hit the 2-hour mark. So no worries, Cleo. So we're getting real close. You guys have been so good and hanging in there. I hope you've all been enjoying it. I've certainly been enjoying it a lot. I do think the earlier chapters were the best parts. Like, I think chapter 1 you absolutely do not have to worry about making them shorter, Rainmaker. It doesn't help that I get distracted by chat so often, you know. We love Adam. Yes, we do love Adam Sandler. Like, he's one of my favorite actors. Like, I don't know too much about his personal life, but he seems like a pretty decent guy. And I love his comedies. I love his serious movies. Like, oh my gosh, have you guys ever seen Reign Over Me? Reign Over Me always gets me teary-eyed. I need to watch it again, though. It's been so long. Like, the part, if you've seen it, the part in the courtroom with the photo and the music, just like, oh my god, it is such a painful moment. I love it. Cleo, that's a good that sounds bad. J-Pro, you're a big fan of how it doesn't obey the rules. Like, yes, I totally agree, J-Pro. Like, yeah, I know what you mean. It's the symbolism of things, like in witchcraft, for example, like modern witchcraft. A lot of it is based in intent. So you can have like symbols that represent things, but it's not necessarily about the item you have. It's about what significance you put to it. So yeah, I really love that that it goes that angle with it, because symbols are important. Maybe not physically, maybe they have absolutely no power physically, but it's what we give to them. Like, you know, we're familiar with so many like hazardous or toxic or poisonous or, you know, radioactive sort of symbols. It's not the symbol itself that does anything, it's the meaning we've assigned to it. Cleo, I'm just not good at words. Like the symbol of witches kicking the devil's second face. Yeah, that second face really had it coming. Oh, kissing? Yeah, it had that coming too. I don't think I know that symbol. You'll have to send it to me, J-Pro. I think they called it a second face. They mean... Oh, okay. Yeah, you'll have to send me a picture of what you're talking about because I don't know if I'm familiar with that. All right, y'all, we're almost there. Let's get going. But yeah, Rainmaker, you totally do not. I think the chapters are good lengths. It's just, it's a longer story. Like it never seems like you put in too much filler or anything. Everything you put in pretty much seems like you have purpose with it. Oh, let me get a quick drink before we start chapter 8. And so far, going more into this, so far, the end could still change things, but I think I like Black Susan best still. This one is still very much up there, though. And I kind of want to see more with the website that was mentioned, like, because the website is the one that mentioned Darren Barbeau, so I'm kind of hoping we have this, like, side character that kind of maybe pops up within the universe every now and then as just someone who has researched, like, all this stuff and started making some connections. The website does mention a few things that you may want to Okay, yeah. I'm glad you said that because I forgot I had to remind you to tell us about some stuff when we're done. So, thank you. And Rainmaker, don't if you have stuff to do, I know we're over time. I feel bad for like I don't want you to feel like you have to, stay if you've got other stuff you need to do. But I do enjoy having you here because it's so nice to have the author while we're reading this story. All right. Oh, you're just hanging out. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Rainmaker. Chapter 8, The Taken. The inside of the house was as immediately unassuming as the outside. Aged but not decayed, dusty but not filthy. It looked like any old house from the 90s. It was just cold and empty. It lacked the personality of a house that was lived in, devoid of quirks, devoid of color, devoid of life. Hi, Mew. Yeah, Rainmaker is the author. They've also written some of the other stories that we've read here, like Black Susan and The Girl in 402. And we read one of your shorter ones, Rain, but Oh, The Flick we read. We still have one other we need to read, though. Yep, we are. This has been a long one. We have taken 2 full streams plus. Is it a published book? No. Oh, I don't think so. You can find them on the Creepypasta wiki, though. I do think that Rain should eventually get something published, though. Yeah, it's been a good story, though. We've been enjoying it a lot, Mew. Alright, we're on the last chapter, so let's get going. Nothing published yet? You'd love to, though, once... Yeah, self-publishing is always an option too, Rain. Nate, sorry you dipped for a bit. Had a small emergency. Shower rack broke and... Oh, like the one that holds the towel or the shower curtain. Either way, I hope nothing was too damaged. You cannot kick faces, Cleo. You dork. Yeah, I hope nothing broke too bad, Nate. I hope it all got fixed. But yeah, no worries about leaving. Small emergencies take precedence over me rambling my mouth. I don't think I said you could kick faces. I think we said the devil's second face deserved a kicking. Okay, That's what you can go kick the devil's second face, okay, Cleo? But only the devil. Don't go kicking other people's second faces. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Mew. Cleo, you really do love to just pick and choose what you hear, don't you? It'd be easier to kick shins. Don't you encourage this, Derpy. Which of you are that? Well, I hope none of them, although if one of you are the devil, I'm honored you're in my presence, I guess. Although, I don't know, should I be concerned why the devil wants to watch me particularly? I mean, I might kiss somebody's butt for some magic powers. I might make that deal. I guess it depends on how clean they keep themselves. Why isn't the devil in Georgia? Maybe he is right now. He's still moping over losing that fiddle. And he's just like watching some Twitch. Yeah, because some people probably have really nasty butts, and I would not want to kiss those, but some people probably keep themselves pretty clean, and although the devil, he's going to intentionally keep himself messy because he wants you to suffer if he's going to give you powers. All right, we're continuing this story. We're done talking about people's messy bottoms. I tried for a light switch but got no luck. Makes sense that David didn't care to pay for the electric bill, but now I had to navigate this place in the dark. Only minimal blue light shone in through the windows, but not enough to illuminate the dark corners. I immediately readied my flashlight. I immediately noticed that I could still see my breath. No heat either. As I stepped further inside, I noticed one more thing. Tick-tock. I turned a corner towards the noise and I saw it sitting at the end of the hallway. The impossible grandfather clock. The noise I'd been hearing this whole time. Did it really have such a purpose as David claimed? I suppose time can get away from you when you're not keeping track of it, but when you're forced to hear every tick, you have to exist in those moments. The rhythm like a rail to keep you grounded and moving in the right direction. Maybe I was losing my mind. The house didn't help. The quiet was deafening, making the clock and my thoughts only seem louder. I thought I liked quiet, but I didn't like this quiet. It was unnatural. It was purposeful. Every dark corner made me anxious. Sure, that was unavoidable given everything I've experienced and learned, but this felt different. This wasn't anxiety about what could be in those shadows. This was anxiety about what I knew was in those shadows. I couldn't see them. Even when I shined my flashlight in the corners, I saw nothing. But I knew they were there. The husks, these poor souls who were hollowed out by this thing and then puppeted around to do his bidding. I felt their eyes on me. By extension, I felt its eyes on me. The first door I tried led to a bathroom. The mirror was shattered and stained in blood just like mine. Can't have been the original mirror, the one that carved up Leterrier's face all those years ago. Did it do this to scare me? Did it already know I was coming? I heard a sloshing noise inside, turned my flashlight towards it, and I nearly flew from my hands. The light shone through the shower curtain, illuminating a silhouette sitting in the bathtub. I saw the shadow of an arm raise into view and reach for the edge of the curtain to peel it back. As it began to pull, I could see the deep red hue of the liquid in the tub. I stuttered back out of the room and shut the door firmly. It took everything in me not to scream. The next door I tried led to an empty bedroom. At least it looked empty when it was this dark. I didn't want to shine my flashlight inside. There was no point. I needed to find the basement. I tried to close the door, but it refused to. I pulled hard, but it was as if someone was on the other side, pulling just as hard. As I stared into the dark room, a figure began to make itself visible. It was moving agonizingly slow from the back of the room towards me. Not walking, just moving. First thing I saw was a white gown, then the pale gray skin, the long black hair. I looked down and saw that her feet weren't touching the ground. I was petrified. My heart pounded out of my chest. The door wouldn't close. Eventually, I just let go and ran. When I looked back, it didn't appear to be following me. From around the corner, I heard the door creak and close on its own. I took a second to regroup and let my heart rate come back down. I realized I was being stupid. I didn't need to try doors to find the right one. I knew exactly what the door I was looking for looked like. I heard the pitter-patter of small footsteps in the other room. Wanted to find the door, but it could be Sammy. I had to follow them. "Sammy," I whispered as I reached the source of the footsteps. Then I heard the pitter-patter behind me. "Sam?" I whispered again. "Is that you, Sam?" I knew in my gut it probably wasn't. It was probably the child, the husk of Caleb Leterrier, being puppeted around, trying to fool me. But I still had to know for sure. More footsteps led me into the kitchen, but I saw no one. I was clearly being toyed with. It was puppeting me even without the strings. I was ready to go back to the doors, but then another pitter-patter startled me. Startled me because it was above me. Not muffled enough to be on the second floor. No, it was on the ceiling, right above my head. I couldn't look. I really didn't want to see it, but I felt it looming over me. I took a few steps back and I heard the ceiling shuffle above me. Every step I took, I heard it crawl to match my position. "Daddy?" the thing above me called out. My entire body tensed. I couldn't look. It wanted me to look. It was tearing me. "Daddy?" it repeated, sounding more hollow. Suddenly, I felt a heavy drip on my face, landing on my forehead and cascading down. I couldn't help it. It was instinct. I looked. The child was sprawled out above me, its body facing down towards me, but its limbs twisted backwards to cling to the ceiling like an insect. Its face. It didn't have a face. Just a mangled, bloody, gaping chasm. The work of his father. I didn't have the time to scream before it lunged down from the ceiling and crashed on top of me. I dropped to the ground, feeling its 40 or so pound frame land on my head. For a moment I was staring directly into the chasm of its face, and it went deeper than I knew possible. And then it was gone. The weight lifted, and I laid there with the last of my sanity just about gone for good. Like a cricket, maybe, dork derpy. I slowly made my way back to my feet, and all I could do was get back to it. Only a few more scans of the doors, and I finally found the door to the basement. It was the same door that we had for for a time, only this one was locked. I carefully produced the final key. There was probably no use in being quiet. I knew that it knew I was here, but I was quiet anyway. Maybe just as some base survival instinct, I slid the key carefully into the lock. Began to turn it, but then I felt a strange and deeply unwelcome sensation. Breath on the back of my neck. My body went stiff, and all the hair on my body stood on end. A shape began to form in my peripheral vision, a face creeping slowly from behind me to the left side of me, inches from my face. If I turned my eyes to the left, I would look right into it. I didn't want to. It stood there breathing. I could hear it. I could feel the warmth on my ear. I wanted to recoil at the discomfort, but I remained stiff as a board, my hand still clasped around the key in the lock. I didn't know why I thought it would help to stay still. I didn't know why I thought it would help to not look, but I did.
The house always wins.
It spoke into my ear. I couldn't help but recoil. Shivers involuntarily shot through me. It was too close. I turned my head, and there he was, right in front of me, the man I now know as Bill Leterrier, the sharp man, with his sadistic grin and gaping, bleeding gash in his head. His breath smelled like dead water. Seeing his face in a mirror was one thing. Seeing it now inches from me was a million times worse. My heart jumped into my throat. I never wanted to see that face again, never, especially never this close. He felt so much more real now. I screamed and fell back to the floor violently, but as soon as I did, he disappeared. Why? Why did he disappear? Did this thing just want to scare me again? Unfortunately, I got my answer as soon as I asked it. I didn't let go of the key as I fell. In fact, I was gripping it very tightly. I felt the pain in my fingers, and then I looked down. I now only held the head of the key. The rest of it remained lodged in the lock. Realizing the situation, I jumped back to my feet and tried to pry the teeth of the key out of the lock with my fingers. I tried to turn it, but it was no use. It was stuck. The door would not be opened. Not 10 seconds later, I heard their voices coming from the other side of the door. "Dad?" shouted Sammy. "Dad!" shouted Maddie. "Help, Dad, please help us!" They called out to me over and over desperately. "Sammy, Maddie, I've got you," I yelled back before reassessing the situation. I had to get to them. I had to. And I knew in that very moment I was playing right into its hands. I knew what I was about to do was exactly what it wanted me to do. Exactly what I was told over and over again not to do. But I had no choice. It won. I stepped back and booted the door near the handle. Didn't budge much. I kicked it again. Not much better. On the third kick, I heard the wood begin to snap and I saw an indentation. 2 more kicks and the frame began to bust. Then I took another step back and ran at the door with my shoulder. It gave way. I did it. I broke one of the locks. I ran past the pieces of door, down the steps and into that old familiar basement, into that pitch-black darkness, the only light being the dull beam of my flashlight. It was different down here. It wasn't as quiet or as dead as it was before. The air felt different, heavier, more humid. There was a persistent droning noise, some kind of hollow hum that reverberated through the walls and the floor. Everything I shined my flashlight on glistened just a little bit more than it should, but it wasn't wet. It wasn't quite damp either. Everything was just clammy. I knew I had to get out of here as quickly as possible. Sam! Madison! I called out again. I shone my flashlight around the room. It looked empty until I looked in the dark corners. Sammy. He was standing in the back left corner facing the walls. I almost didn't see him. I turned to the right, and Maddie was standing similarly in the opposite corner, both unmoving. Guys, it's me, it's Dad. Come on now, we have to go. I reached out to them, but I had a feeling they couldn't hear me. The low hum I was hearing began to change. Through the droning, I heard the voices again, all of them, saying their final words. But it wasn't chaotic. Blair Witch ripoff, SMH. I always think of that when I see people in those positions. But yeah, okay, so quick sidebar. There are a ton of things that I read in, this one in particular, but in all of them so far, where I really wonder, Rain, if, like, I'm like, I wonder if they got that from this. And I don't mean it in a bad way. Like, I love seeing them and I love guessing at, like, what your inspiration was. But yeah, I love seeing these things that I wonder if they're references or not. Let me do a quick scan of chat because you guys have been chatty. Is this lips to lips or just a cheek? That does. Oh my gosh, Nate, that's such a gross way to phrase it, but I get exactly what you are saying. Where's my water? And yeah, that totally does make a difference if you're kissing a cheek versus the quote-unquote lips. Derpy, you were in the upstairs when you said that and had to run all the way to your room to clip. Oh my gosh, what did I say? If it's a oh no, I'm worried about what you clipped. If it's a cheek, then maybe. If the power, yeah, that's the key. If the power is good enough, that makes a difference. Although, knowing the devil, he'd probably be like, well, you know, I'll give you something, and you don't get to know what you get until after. Probably do a lot of, like, monkey's paw type of stuff. Oh, give me just a sec. I got some hair in my headset. That is much better. It's so frustrating when you get some hair, like, in front of your eyes in the headset. You turn on the taser and have the light crackle. There's definitely some subconscious inspirations. I mean, we kind of can't help it. Like, everything, like, even the most original things, they still take inspiration from somewhere, you know? Like, everything comes from something to some degree or another. Oh, Sniper, we were talking about witches kissing the devil's butt to get powers earlier. Can say you've reached 10 hours in VR chat. Have officially... Oh, you sweet summer child. Oh, wait, 10 hours straight or 10 hours total, Sniper? Mew. Oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, Mew. You walk in at some of the weirdest times. Oh, 10 hours straight. Sniper, get out of VR chat. Go take a break. Oh my god. But yeah, Sniper, seriously, take care of yourself. No. Well, I've done all I can do. You guys are too rebellious. I can't deal with your teenage phase. Okay, where was I? Oh my gosh, don't kick everyone in Arizona. We're gonna have to put you in timeout, Cleo. We're gonna put you in that basement with Maddie and Sam. You're gonna have to face the wall. Okay, there we are. The low hum I was hearing began to change. Through the droning, I heard the voices again, all of them saying their final words. But it wasn't chaotic like before, it was organized, almost rhythmic. Their words formed some kind of chant, melding and molding in the phrases into some other kind of language. Sammy, come on. I walked towards my son and placed a hand on his shoulder. He still didn't move. He was cold. I turned him to face me and his eyes were closed. His body was limp. His head swiveled as I tried to shake him awake. Felt like he wasn't even standing under his own power. Sam, I shouted, trying to break through whatever was happening to him. You chose him, Maddie's voice let out in a whisper from across the room. The chanting quieted as she spoke. What? I asked. But you always do, don't you? What are you talking about? I asked shakily. I pointed the flashlight towards her, and she remained in the corner, never moving an inch. I couldn't even tell if her mouth moved when she talked. You're a failure. You were always a failure. As a husband and as a father, she muttered. Maddie, we have to go. Come on, please. We do have to go, but not with you. I was waiting for so long, and it finally happened. Mom came to pick us up. Mom! Sammy exclaimed. Me and Sammy are going to be with Mom now, as we should be. You were never meant to be a father. Mom isn't here, Maddie. Please, it's a trick. Stop talking like this. It's not you, I pleaded. It is me. But you don't know me, do you? You don't know anything about me. You just use me. You use me to be your housewife because your other housewife left. You don't care how much I hurt. That's not true, I shouted. You saw, though, didn't you? I know you saw the scars on my arms, but you pretended you didn't, because you wanted to keep believing everything was fine. You can't handle when things get tough. You can't handle being a parent. You never should have had us. But it's okay now, Dad. Mom's coming to get us. She'll take care of us. You can have your stress-free life. Tears began to stream down my face. I knew it wasn't really her talking, but I knew she was right about so much. I did see her scars. Deep down, maybe this is how she really felt. If she really had the chance to be home with her mother, maybe she would. Maybe she would have it better over there. But that's not what this is. This thing was taking from them, and I knew it wouldn't stop. If I get them out of the house, it wouldn't matter. They would continue to be fed upon until they were nothing. Is that what I was? How much had I taken from Maddie all these years? I took her childhood, I took her happiness, I took her dreams. Was I her monster? Didn't matter anymore. I just had to fix this. This had to end. And it did. I don't remember what happened next. All I remember was driving down a long, lonely road with my daughter in the passenger seat and my son asleep in the back. The sun rose in front of us. We were making our way back home. I may not remember what I did, but I know what I did. I did what I had to. Where are we? Maddie asked. What happened to us? I fixed it. You're safe now. We're all safe, I said with as much of a smile as I could muster. What do you mean? How? She prodded. I love you, I responded, cutting her off. It felt good. I should have said it so much more. Ugh. Maddie exclaimed with exaggerated disgust. Stop! A few moments passed, and then she spoke up again. Love you too. After a few days, I figured out what it was going to take from me. How smart and insidious it was. Why would it even let me make a bargain like that? It started to make sense. Little things started to go first. I'd misplace things. I'd reach into my mind to recall something and I would find only fog. That's why I began writing almost right away. Our memories are the most precious things that any of us have, and I don't want mine to die with me. I'm afraid. More afraid than I ever have been. Afraid of the day when I forget more. Afraid for the day when I forget them. Afraid for the day when I'll have to leave them. Until then, I'll hold my memories close. As close as I can for as long as I can. I'll read this book over and over. I will fight to give them everything I have left. I will love them until my last breath. I will remember. It's what you do when you're a parent. As for why it accepted my bargain, why it chose to take what it did from me, it's obvious. First thing I forgot was to lock the door on my way out. End of chapter 8. We still have an epilogue left to go, but I loved where that went. Like it may seem it may seem kind of anticlimactic, but I love that kind of fizzle, like all of a sudden it's just over and it kind of leaves you with a powerless feeling, like you're not in control of it ending, the house is. And so I really love that. The transition to the car, them driving in the car, very much reminded me of like the ending of the Silent Hill movie, when it's like, well, we did it, but like not really. It's a very melancholic quote unquote victory. And yeah, I was really happy where it went with that, but let's see what the epilogue has in store for us. Maybe there'll be something else going. Mew, you're gonna go back to your Godzilla lore videos. Mothra has too much lore and depends on which one. Yeah, there are so many. Ooh, Batra. Wait a sec. Oh, I really want to see Batra in the MonsterVerse Mew. I don't know if you're even still here, but yeah, Batra and Destroya are the two that I really want to see most in the MonsterVerse. Um, Anguirus would be nice to see too. I think they should have had Anguirus in the most recent Legendary movie. Oh my gosh, Rainmaker. Yes, I'm glad you agree. Like, Destroya would have been the perfect, like, Thanos level monster for Godzilla and Kong to team up against. Because dang, Destroya is just brutal. Like, him taking out Godzilla Jr., that's such a jerk move. He does it just to get on Godzilla. Destroya is the last one. Yeah, Destroya absolutely is. But they better bring him into the Legendary movies at some point. I will be so sad if they end the MonsterVerse without doing that. Ooh, -1 was so good. Destroy as the devil would not want to kiss. Ooh, yeah, Space Godzilla would be good too. He is a huge a-hole too. The way he just traps baby Godzilla, that is so mean. It's so sad. He doesn't even like care. He doesn't finish him off. He's just like, yeah, I'm gonna put this kid in here. Good luck getting back to him. Hardly remember a Firebird kaiju. Are you talking about Rodan? I love Rodan. Rodan is one of my favorite kaiju overall. One of my favorite kaiju movies too. It's so good. But yeah, top 3 kaiju for me. Probably be, we got Mothra on top, and then we gotta go Destroy a second, and then third, yeah, we'll go with Rodan. I did consider, oh, Gigan, big space chicken with a, no, okay, I like, Gigan's fun, like, I like having him around, but I hate Gigan, he's such a weenie. Red Velvet, thank you for following. I'm glad you're enjoying it. We're just going on a little Godzilla tangent before we finish the epilogue. Horror and Godzilla, those are two things that you do not have to say much to get me to go on a tangent. Gigan though, he is such a punk. Like in Godzilla vs. Gigan, like or no, Godzilla vs. Megalon, I mean. Like, Gigan teams up with Megalon, and then, wait, am I thinking of the right one? Yeah, I am. No. Oh my gosh, it's been so long. Megalon is the one with Jet Jaguar, right? Yeah. But every time Gigan is like Starscream. Every time the battle starts, like he starts losing, he books it. When Megalon and Gigan are fighting Godzilla and Jet Jaguar, Megalon's getting beat up and Gigan he's like, I'm out, guys. And he does the same when he's fighting with King Ghidorah. Like, who is... It's Anguirus, Godzilla and Anguirus versus Gigan and King Ghidorah. And Gigan's just like, nah, I don't like these odds. And he books it. And then Ghidorah's just there like, what the heck, man? And Godzilla's like holding Ghidorah's heads back. And Anguirus just like starts smacking him with his spike back. It's great. I love it, but Gigan is such a punk. Mecha King Ghidorah. Yeah, Mecha King Ghidorah was actually a good guy, though. At least in the 90s. Did Mecha King Ghidorah ever show up in any other movies except the 90s one? Gigan always has to be in a tag team? Yeah, because he's such a punk. I think the exception is the Final Wars version of Gigan, where I think he has a different name. It's like the Monster X version of Gigan, you know? Where he has like the buzz saws instead of the hooks. But yeah, that was the one time where I think Gigan just didn't bail. Like he actually kept fighting, but not BDSM Gigan. I love that. That's how I'm gonna think of it. But yeah, Final Wars, Mothra still got the last laugh. She may have sacrificed herself as she does, but she always gets the last laugh. Homie rocking the black leather. Probably remind you. Oh yeah, we are an hour overtime and still have. Okay, no more Godzilla. You guys got one of my buttons. All right, let's get to the epilogue. It is not too long, so we shouldn't be too much longer. Thank you all so much for sticking with me for this. I'm glad you're enjoying it enough. How to distract? Yeah. Seriously though, I love talking about Godzilla. Yeah, we love Mothra. Mothra's my favorite, Cleo. She's the most godly out of all of them. Okay. Epilogue. I know what death is. It's not just when your consciousness leaves this earth. Death is so much more. Death is every unsaid thing that can now never be said. Death is every memory remembered for the last time. Death is every little thing you see that reminds you of the person who is supposed to be there, but isn't. My dad died 1,000 times, and I have died 1,000 times. I wish I got to tell you how wrong you were. I wish I got to tell you so many things. There always seemed to be something in the way. You were never my monster. You were never my burden. I never resented you. I never would have left you. You were my dad. That's all. And you were enough. You always wanted to do the impossible. I think that's what every good parent wants. To win the no-win scenario. To be perfect. To make our lives perfect. But whether you succeeded or not never mattered. All that mattered to me was that you tried. And you did, always. The doctors said the acceleration of his cognitive decline was vicious. They gave him a generous 3 years before he wouldn't be able to remember anything or anyone. It took 8 years before he forgot my name. And even still, he said he loved me every time he saw me. He fought for us until the end. The last thing I said to him was that me and Sammy were going to be okay. He didn't know us by then. But I still saw his lip curl into a smile. I wasn't there when he passed. I got a call at 4 a.m. that he was gone. I had said so many times my final goodbyes, unsure which would be the last, but I still wish I got to be there to say it properly. No one was around to hear if he had any last words, but I know what they were. one of the few possessions he had to his name was an old CRT. I thought about donating it at first, but something inside me told me to keep it. It sat in my closet after that, but after the first time I read my dad's book, I dug it back out. I set it on the floor and plugged it in, turned it on and sat cross-legged in front of it, just watching and listening to the static. I waited and waited. None of the voices came through as they did before, except one.
I remember.
The end. That was a great epilogue. I loved that epilogue, Rain. The callback to I remember. I had actually forgotten about those phone calls from those were like the first thing we were getting. Good job, Rainmaker. As always, that was a wonderful story. I thank you so much for writing it and being here when we read it. You did have some stuff you wanted to mention, some callbacks or references or something. But yeah, that was a very, very beautiful ending. Oh, thank you for the hydrate, Ghost. The movie describes them both as Mothra the protector of the people and Batra the protector. Yeah, so the main difference between Mothra and Batra, give me just a sec to do my hydrate. You're gonna dip. Thank you for joining, Cleo. Let me give you a quick hug. Oh my gosh. The entity in this story is the same entity as Girl and... That makes sense. Because you were talking about like how it grew like a mold. Oh my god. That is so good. Like, is it like the exact same entity or just the same sort of entity? Like, is this just something that there are a ton of, like, you know, the 402 one, that's the 402 entity, and this is the Ashbrook entity, but they're the same, they're just the same, like, species, for lack of a better word. When Lee goes to save Jess, he doesn't lock the door. Oh my god. That's so good, Rain. Same one, just moves when the locks are... Oh my gosh, I love that. That's so good. I can't wait to see more in this universe. That's... I love, like, expanded universe type things. I feel like too many cinematic universes try to go too fast. Like, instead of doing the slow burn Marvel method, they tend to go the, okay, let's get it out DC method. But yeah, about Mothra and Batra. So they do not hold loyalty to the people of Earth. They hold loyalty to the Earth itself. So that's why Mothra will, like, you know, get pissy at people if, like, they're doing enough to damage the Earth. And so the main difference between Mothra and Batra, the way I don't remember if they ever described it this way, but I think the best way to view them is Mothra is the protector of Earth and Batra is the Earth's vengeance. 'Cause Batra's gonna be the one who is like, alright, y'all are, like, polluting the planet, I'm gonna go take care of that. So yeah, I like both Mothra and Batra. Neither, they're not inherently good and bad, but you know, Batra's definitely inclined towards aggressive, whereas Mothra's inclined towards defense. J Pros could be controversial, but you think the multiverse idea can ruin a good? It certainly can. Um, I like it overall, but like, don't throw it in there for the sake of just having a multiverse and trying to get more content out of it. Like, if you have an overall universe planned and you have ideas on how you want things interacted, that is awesome. Like, go for it. I love that. You love how MonsterVerse, Godzilla, and Mothra have this? Wait, have what? Oh, the protector versus aggressor dynamic? Yeah, yeah. Rainmaker, the one kaiju you need in the oh, Biolante is really cool. Like, I think Biolante's movie is really boring. Like, I do not care much for the movie, but Biolante as a monster, awesome. She is huge too. They could definitely translate her into the MonsterVerse pretty easily too. You think your brain is melted, Sniper? Yeah, you know what? I think mine is pretty melty too. So as much as I love talking about Godzilla with you guys, I think it is time for us to call it. We are 3 hours overtime. Oh my gosh, I haven't stretched for a while. Oh, all the bones are cracking. We should probably raid. We have a good chunk of people. Let's see if there's anyone on who we want to raid. I haven't gotten to be affectionate enough with you guys today. I've given you hugs, but mwah. You heard Godzilla and all you could think of is both memes and the Eminem song. Not who is it who does it? Is it Blue Oyster Cult who does the Go Go Godzilla song? They say he's got to go, go, go Godzilla. It's such a banger. I love that song. Been fun. Yes, thank you so much for the story, Rainmaker. It was such a delight to read. I do think I like Black Susan more overall, but this is a pretty close second. KOM had the I don't know who KOM is. Are they the ones? Did they do the movie version, or was the movie version the Blue Oyster Cult version? Godzilla did go to a black hole. Wait, which one did he go into a black hole? Oh, in King of the Monsters? Like old King of the Monsters? Or is that something I missed in... Oh, you're talking about like... oh, I have not watched Megaguirus in... God, I don't think I've watched that probably since I was like college age. I am not super familiar with the Millennium era Godzilla movies as much. I need to go back and watch a bunch of them. One of these days we need to just do a Godzilla marathon. We need to watch a bunch of Godzilla movies. I have a significant amount of them just in my personal collection. Ooh, yes, tell me your weird fan theory, Mew. So down for a Godzilla-thon. Yeah, maybe I'll have to make it like a VR chat Astral's Travelers event sometime. But yeah, Godzilla. It has been a long time since I did a bunch of Godzilla movies. It's hard to find people to watch them with, honestly, because I would love to watch them with Dram, but I really don't think she'll be entertained by most of them. right. Mew, while you're looking, let me see if... Oh, Godzilla 98 is an alternate world where Monarch is a secret organization. So you're talking about Zilla Godzilla, like Matthew Broderick? I like that. That's going into my head canon. I kind of want to rewatch the movie now with that in the back of my head. I assume you've done that, Mew? Like you've watched it with that idea, like watching it through that lens, and it probably fits pretty well. Like, oh my gosh, like Jean Reno's character could totally be part of Monarch. Zilla is a Mudo in a Paris Monarch outpost. I like that. I really like that. Yes, that is a great headcanon. Yeah, he totally like they say they're like part of the French Foreign Legion, but that's totally a lie. He's part of Monarch. Yeah, I would love to see Jean Reno's show. I haven't seen him in anything for a long time, but I love him. He's always so fun to watch. The Professional is such an amazing movie. Like, even though it's got some, sketchy stuff with the kid, like, he is still a class act in it. He's like, no, stop doing this. This is weird. Has a number for a bombing embassy. Yeah, he did a lot of stuff. I'm convinced that he's Monarch now. Oh my gosh, yes, Gary Oldman is always amazing. Honestly, he's probably got to be one of my favorite actors too. And I love the part where he's like, bring in everyone, and the other guy's like, just everyone? And he just belts it out at him. He just looks at him and yells, everyone. Yes, you get it. Rain, you are amazing. I love you. Like all the same things that I like. I love that I can just spout off these references and you just know them. Oh my gosh. Okay, hydrate. Thank you, Mew. And then, yes, y'all are getting me distracted again. I need to go eat some dinner, you dorks. Oh, I lost my controllers. Oh, they're on my chair, that's why. Let me know if you watch Godzilla stuff. You'll join if you can. Did not mean to delay the end of stream. You get passionate about Gary Oldman and Godzilla. Fair. Those are two things to get to get passionate about. But you know what? It's late. We're not gonna raid. We're just gonna go ahead and end it. So goodbye, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out and chatting about all this stuff. Thank you, Rainmaker, for this story. It was wonderful. And Derpy, go eat. I was just petting you guys even though I moved you. Go eat food, tasty fish, milk, and other food with no discernible theme await you. Dork. Alright. Bye, everyone. Go eat some food. Go drink some water. Be good to yourselves and each other. I love y'all very much. I will see you tomorrow for some Horror Worlds. Oh, that reminds me. I'll make an announcement, but we are going to be starting stream an hour earlier tomorrow. We are doing a collab with Josh Red. Is it VT or TV? I don't know. I have it written. It's VT. Josh Red VT. We're going to do some Horror Worlds with him, and Cosmic will be with us as well. So, be sure to tune in for that. And I will see you all later. All right, everyone. Bye.